Hello, everyone. Before I jump in, I want to introduce myself. My name is Wendy Gray. In addition to being a fellow classmate in SDO 504, I am a human resources business partner at a large financial institution, which is a role I have been in for nearly a decade. One area of focus I am often challenged with is problem solving around people leadership. Whenever the topic comes up, I am reminded of a classic exchange that is often cited in leadership circles where a CFO asks a CEO, "What happens if we invest in developing our people and then they leave?" The CEO responds with, "What happens if we don't and they stay?" As a human resources business partner, I live in the tension of that question every day. My role is to bridge the gap between organizational goals and the human beings who achieve them. Over the course of my career, I have seen the incredible return on investment of a well-trained team, but I've also seen and felt the impact of what happens when a leader isn't prepared to take on the complexities of their role. Like many of you, I am pursuing an advanced degree in legal studies. In my case, the focus is human resources law, and I believe that understanding the law is a prerequisite for organizational success. Effective people leaders are only as good as the foundation they have built their practice on, which includes being aware of how law and leadership intersect. Today, I am going to outline why developing people, specifically leaders, is a strategic necessity by looking at three key areas. First, how development serves as the greatest retention tool for an organization. Second, how training functions as a litigation shield to protect the organization. And finally, how developing leadership competency reduces the risk of accidental legal liability. So let's start with the basics. Keeping talent that is already in place. We all know that turnover is expensive, but for those of us in legal or HR roles, turnover is also considered a high-risk event. Every time a tenured employee walks out the door and decides to leave because they feel stagnant, they take a piece of the organization's institutional memory with them. And in all likelihood, that reason for leaving, being stagnant, could be prevented. According to the 2024 LinkedIn Learning Workplace Learning Report, 94% of employees say they would stay at a company longer if it simply invested in their career development. From an HR perspective, this isn't about job satisfaction. It's about continuity. When we keep our people, we maintain a stable environment where compliance is a habit. When we fail to develop them, we practically invite knowledge gaps that lead to legal errors and broken promises. Now let's look at this through a more defensive lens. In the world of employment law, the standard of care is often the deciding factor in a dispute. The question isn't just, did something go wrong? It's, did the organization take reasonable steps to prevent it from going wrong? The Society for Human Resources Management, or SHRM, consistently emphasizes that a robust, documented professional development program is an organization's primary defense against claims of negligence or failure to train. In my own experience, I've helped prepare leaders for legal proceedings. There's no harder position to defend than a supervisor who has to admit that they were never trained or didn't know about a policy, law, or process, which has resulted in detrimental impact to an individual employee or individuals they were responsible for leading. By prioritizing training and development, we are essentially writing our defense before a claim can even be filed. We are protecting the company by empowering the individual people leader. And finally, we have to talk about the who. Most legal liability in the workplace doesn't come from the C-suite. It comes from the frontline supervisor. Often, these are accidental managers, people who were really great at their technical roles and were promoted as a result, but were never taught how to lead people, what they need to be aware of, and what practices they should and should not engage in to drive results. In the book Leading with Cultural Intelligence, Dr. David Livermore notes that leadership effectiveness across diverse teams requires a specific set of competencies that must be intentionally built. While his work often focuses on global culture, this principle can be applied to any organizational culture. In organizations, if people leaders are not developed to handle difficult conversations, conflict resolution, and performance management, the door is left open for complaints and labor disputes, including but not limited to equal opportunity, employment cases, discrimination, and defamation claims from employees. Leadership development is not a soft skill. It is a mechanical necessity for reducing the human error that leads to legal risk. To wrap things up, you've heard today that professional development is far more than an HR line item. It is a driver of retention that keeps talent at the table. It is a litigation shield that protects and keeps organizations out of the courtroom, and it is the only way to ensure that leaders are equipped to manage the human side of the law. As graduate students, we are already proving that we value development for ourselves. I am asking you to extend the same commitment to the people you will advise or lead. Don't just view development as a nice-to-have perk. View it as the bridge between an organization that is vulnerable and one that is resilient. By investing in people, we don't just become better leaders, we become better stewards of the law. Thank you.